All right, so now we're going to move on to working with some of the 3D information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my layers here, and I know this means contour major and minor, so if I select both of those, you'll see that the contour major and minor get turned on. You'll see my yellow contours are probably my major contours, and then these magenta here are my minor contours. So what I want to do is I want to change those. So a couple things I can do, since I know that they're on this and these are major, is, to be honest with you, I could move them to a new layer, or I could just go to my layer manager, and in my layer manager I could pick these contours, and I could come in and I can name it, just rename it, and then change the colors and the properties and put them into a different group. So what I might do is just come in here and call this. So I'm just going to come in here, select, and I'm just going to change this to, instead of stake or STK, I'm going to call it a DTM, because I'm going to use this for my surface data, and I can leave it as contour major. And then the same thing here is I can just come in and call this DTM, getting rid of, just going dash CONT, contour minor, and I don't necessarily need to have them. Yellow isn't a good color to use, so I'm going to choose a couple different colors. Maybe I use brown, or actually, you know what? I'm just going to make them both magenta. So I'm just going to come in here, and if you hold your shift key down, you can pick both of these layers, and now I can come in here and I can change the colors globally. So maybe I just pick that color. So come in here and change this to magenta. I'll change them both to magenta. They're solid. I can leave the weight the way they are. I can protect them both. And then I can come in here and I can create a layer group. So my new layer group here, move this guy over a little bit, okay, is going to be, instead of stakeout, we're going to call it DTM, or actually, no, I'm just going to put these on contours. So I'm just going to call it contours, because I don't want those on. I'm just going to put them on a contour layer or group. And we'll create a separate DTM group. Even though I'm calling these DTM, I'm just putting them into this contour group. So when I close, now I can see that those contour lines or layers are gone there, and they're actually down here under my contour. So in the future, I can just relayer and move those objects to that contour layer. All right. Now I can do the same thing. If I come in here, I can see I've got some survey data, and what I might want to do, you can see I've got some grading, and if I look at these layers, these are my original ground contour layers. So I can do the same thing with those, is just come in here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to roll down to this, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go to the front of this. I'm going to delete all this other stuff, and I'm going to change this to, OG dash contour major, and I'll come in here and do the same thing. Press home, delete all this stuff, and just leave this as OG contour minor. I can leave these the way they are. We can protect these layers, because when we delete this and make our template, we don't want to remove those. And then I can come down here, same thing, I'm going to create a new group, and that new group is going to be original ground, or we can call it existing ground. So I'm just going to call it original ground, and we'll close that. And then I'll do the same thing here, is just put this on the original ground. So again, I'm just using this, we could do it a couple of different ways. I mean, you could use standardize, create a new layer, and do all that as well. In this case, I just renamed it. Now, future, I would probably, because that name's already going to exist, I would just select by layer, select these contours, and then move those to that original ground contour layer. So now I can come in here and I can, turn these off, turn off the original ground, or turn off the stakeout. Okay, now if we take a look at this, we can see that our contour lines, our design contour lines, actually have elevation. So if we take a look at the properties, we can see that it's 24. Now on our original ground, we can take a look at it and we can see that our elevation isn't exactly matching what it should be. So what I'm going to show you in the next video is how we can elevate these contour lines to their proper elevation.